Rightly said
Yes,
by
Tanya,
Scott
we are live
Belsky.
now.
Yes, ma'am. Rightly said by Scott Belsky that it is not about ideas, it is about making ideas happen. Good morning, everyone. I, Tanya Singh, on behalf of Gentech School of Law, extend a warm welcome to our respected guests, faculty members, and the students with us on this webinar. This webinar has been organized by School of Law in collaboration with Institutions Innovation Council, that is IIC. The topic for today's webinar is how to plan for startup legal and ethical steps. I would like to introduce you all with the resource person for this webinar, Mr. Kunal Chopra, sir. You all will be delighted to know that Sir is the founder of Law Karo. Sir has been dealing with civil and criminal matters. He is also proficient in legal drafting and negotiating settlements. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. But before we proceed any further, I would request Professor Miss Sunana Mishra ma'am to please adorn the guest with her warm greetings.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Uh, Respected Chairman Sir and Director Sir in absentia, Dr. Pallavi Gupta Ma'am, HOD Law Department, and all the members of IIC, I welcome you all, and I welcome you, Kunal. I welcome you, Kunal Sir, who is the chief guest of our today event. And just for introducing Kunal Chopra sir, you must be delighted to know that we have a very diverse personality today amongst us. He is an advocate with years of experience advising clients in civil and criminal matters. He is very proficient in drafting legal documents and negotiating settlements. He is a persuasive lawyer with strong background
you.
in law of crimes, and he is passionately representing clients in various matters with minimal risk and positive resolutions. I welcome you, sir. I'm lucky to have.
Thank you, ma'am.
I
Thank
hope
you. Thank you
all
very
our
much.
students will be delighted to have your session today. I welcome you once again, and over to you, sir. You can start with your session now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning to everyone. And, I'm really thankful to be here. And thanks everyone on the panel, Tanya, Sunana ma'am, Richa ma'am. First of all, I want to thank HOD ma'am, Pallavi Gupta, who has been the encouraging rage that I always wanted in my life. Thanks to Jim's faculty, especially Richa ma'am. I want to, extend my thankfulness to her. Because of her, I'm here. Literally, I mean, no joking. Apart from that, Tyagi sir and everyone in the panel, I want to thank every one of them. And thank you, Tanya, for introducing me, Sunana ma'am, everyone. Thank you very much. So, shall I go forward with the webinar to the lecture? I mean, shall I?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Kunal, you can start.
Please.
Okay, sure. Okay. So we have a topic. Let's say it is a very diluted topic that we are having today. How to start a startup? Taking the legal and ethical steps in the proper manner to achieve the result that a person wants to. So, to before going on to the lecture or the things that I have decided, I just want to tell what a startup is. Startup basically means the earliest stage of a business model, or the business that a person is trying to do, or a thought that he is having in his mind. That will convert into a product, and that it will go to the customers as a service, let's say. So startup basically is the earliest stage of any business. So let us talk about a brief, we can say a history of startups in India. We are the third largest ecosystem in the whole world, right? So and last year, I guess there were 7 unicorns in a month. The last was Pristine Care. A unicorn is a startup basically who has the evaluation of $1 billion with them. So as of now, we have 93 unicorns in India, and thanks to the Modi government or the Startup India initiative that has been taken up by the BJP after 2014, to encourage startups through Startup India, Make in India, the MSME advantages that they have given, and the relaxation on those particular things that the government has given to us. are undeniable. I mean, in any aspect, in any corner of the world, if you see, there are high taxes and everything, but Indian government has been literally throwing money away on startups. They are encouraging people to uh, pursue their dreams basically. So after 2008 there was a recession. Like there was a recession in 2019 that was decided prior, like 15 years prior, that there will be a recession in 2019. There was a similar kind of recession in 2008, but after that the ratio of startups in India have been increased drastically, I would say, because the ratio, the percentage of the people attempting to do startups and failing, and attempting to do startups and achieving the things that they really want, has increased. Let's say, for example, in 2000, from 2008 to 2014, it was 6 to 8%. Like whole of India, like we have 1.3 billion people with us, and only 8% of them are really trying to achieve something that will help the society at first, that will increase the revenue, that will help in the GDP creation of the country. So it was 6 to 8%. I'm sure about it. After that, in 2014, when the BJP came, I'm not in this paradigm that I'm supporting any government entity. I'm just saying that because of those initiatives, let's say for Startup India, let's say for Make in India, the MSME advantages that government has given, the tax relaxations, the startup have increased drastically in India, and the ratio has been increased by 14%, and now it is 20% approximately, I guess. So it was a good initiative from the side of government. Apart from that, let's say I studied in gym. I was in the foundation batch. That was in 2014. We were literally the first people to enter into School of Law, Jamtech School of Law. We were the first to enter into that particular college and study law. Richa ma'am was there, Pallavi ma'am was there from the first moment, and they helped us through it. I was not regular student in the college. I used to bunk classes. I used to go study in the courts. I used to listen to the plaintiffs and defendants. I didn't really attend the classes, I mean, to be honest. But it was all the God's plan, I guess, because somehow I managed to do the things that someone else can't do. Not every second person is attempting to do a startup. So this is really a blessing that I was given, from the School of Law, Gemtech, and Pallavi ma'am, Richa ma'am, and everyone from the faculty, I would say. So that was a great opportunity for me to personify myself, right? So let's begin with how to start an startup. And I have divided this particular webinar into some segments. Let's say there are three segments. Basically, what is a startup, that I've already discussed, I guess. I'll be explaining it a bit in further moments, and then we will go on to the prerequisites that comes with it, and then we will take up the ethical and the legal steps that a person should take to literally start a startup. So you know startup starts with an idea. There has to be an idea for a person to start a startup. Let's say I am the founder of Law Karo. So there was some research, some reason that was going on behind the scene, behind the curtains, that the user or the end customer doesn't know about. There was a lot of research, lot of patience, lot of dedication, tears, smiles, everything was there from the last 11, 12 months, I would literally say. Because before that, I completed my LLB in 2019, and after that I gave some of the government exams. Like, let's say I went with IBPS, Institute of Banking Personnel Selection. Then I gave ICMR. It was at those moments I was not getting the result that I was expecting. I was not getting the job, for like, I didn't clear the interview for for the shortage of 2 marks. So I decided after giving 3 4 exams that I'll do startup. So basically that is not the right approach, I would say, because your startup has to be, or your business has to be, either for future oriented or solution oriented. So it's not like you think of an idea that is sorry, either existing in the society or existing in the market, or and you are bringing up it with a better model, let's say. So you have to every idea has to be a solution oriented idea, because you are bridging the gap between yourself, the end user. So that gap has to be covered with a solution. For the most prominent example, I would say, let's take up SpaceX, the example of SpaceX or Tesla. The coal is getting depleted day by day. Every day we are using the petroleum resources, and someone comes up with a brilliant idea. Elon Musk, I would first person to ever have the electric cars, and that hype that he created for those particular cars or particular things. So what he did, he actually found a future oriented solution to a particular problem that existed today but will be profitable in the future, right? So this is what a startup is all about. You don't have to look for problems कि, let's say if I'm looking for a problem कि ये problem society में exist करती है, it's not like that. Problem everywhere is a problem, in your home, in the society, with your friends, with your colleagues, in the college. There is a system that is not working, that is stagnant in any manner, I would say. But the most important thing is there has to be a solution to that, and that solution will convert you to the users. It will help you meet the users. It will help you generate the profits, the money, the equity. Everything is a solution based idea, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Lenskart, whether it's Ola. Okay, let's talk about Ola for a second. When I was studying in college, I was very much fond of the ongoing startups, ongoing business models. I used to, even in HOD ma'am's class. I'm really sorry to say that, but it is true to an extent that even in her class, even in Richa ma'am class, I used to sit at the back and go through the Forbes magazine. There was not a subscription model at that point of time, but yeah, we used to scroll through Google and find. We used to write like, what are the startups that are happening in USA can be copied in India. So there is another kind of startup. Basically, if there is first startup that I told is a solution based startup. Second is a copy based startup. Copy based startup, let's say for an example, and it is very important because we people, you, me, everyone who is watching, and everyone on the panel must have used that. Ola is a very big startup. Evaluation is like skyrocketed in last 3 to 4 years, and the moment they entered into the electric market, I don't have to say, everyone knows it. So, but it is not actually a solution-based idea or future-oriented solution. It was just a basically copied idea that was taken from USA. The Uber was in USA, founded in USA. So India has a dense market. When we say dense market, we say everyone might be aware that what is really a dense market. A small landmass, but people, but a huge quantity of people. So that is basically a dense population. So what happened at that particular time, when Uber was booming in USA, it was the first country that they ever entered, and the founder was also from United States. In India, two guys, thought of, "Okay, let's bring out taxi into abnormal manners." And when I say abnormal manners, I really intend, and I have a strong intent of saying it. They had a future vision of it. They saw the profits coming to them, flowing through them. Because why is that? I'll tell you why is that. because there is a huge population. India, all has been really fortunate, I would say, to have a huge population. So what they did, they just copied that idea and implemented in that particular idea to the Indian market. But it won't work like that, because the prices that they were charging in United States, let's say for a 3 kilometers ride or 5 kilometers ride, they were charging $5, and if you convert those $5 into INR, that would give you somewhere around 350 rupees, and no one was comfortable to give 350 rupees for 5 kilometers. People could walk for like 1 or 2 kilometers, at a stretch. So that was not feasible. So what they did, they implemented the idea, the same idea that that the founders of Uber in the USA had, but they implemented in such a manner that they were reliable. First of all, they were cheaper and they were faster. In rural areas, if Ola exists even in the rural areas, because they launched an application called Ola Lite. Because I'll tell you reason why they launched it. Because in India, we living in the metropolitan cities, Bombay, Kolkata, Delhi, Bangalore, and Punjab and all that. So what happened? Everyone in these particular areas were having 3G or 4G network, but in the rural areas they were having 2G networks. So they could not take the load. That particular 2G network could not take the load of that particular application. So what they did, what they actually did, they somehow suppressed the SKU and the app bundle. There is something called app bundle, that a person, when he designs an application, uh, there is a minimal type of coding that a person will type, and that it will do some things in that particular application. So they did those kind of things. So what they made it faster. So if you are having an idea that is just a copied idea, let's say Flipkart was also a copied idea. The Bansal, Rohit Bansal, Kunal Bansal, and all, they just copied the idea, I would say. In reality, they didn't think of any, realistic or original, for that matter. It was not an original idea. They just copied. Amazon was selling books. Flipkart, when it came, they were just selling books. Amazon went into the apparels market, the electronics market, the television, the mobile phones, everything you could buy. Even if you see the logo of Amazon, it has the arrow from A to Z. It means anything from A to Z, starting from A, ending with Z, or from starting with Z or ending with A, is available on Amazon market. So that Jeff Bezos basically gave a marketplace to people to really buy whatever from a needle. Even if you search needle on Amazon, you will find it. And even if you search parts of like cars or bikes and automobiles and everything, you'll find it. So that's how ideas work. And they got lucky. The Ola ideas, the idea of Ola, Rapido came after that. Many companies came, but none of them, were that much stabilized or sustainable, I would say personally, because they didn't had the original ideas to execute. Okay, so that's how it basically works. So in a nutshell, there are two kind of ideas. One is future oriented, based on a solution that you're trying to provide, and second, most importantly, is a copy based idea, but you have to make it cheaper, you have to make it reliable, and you have to make it faster. So these are the things that you have to, guys, and the people who are watching, the students, I want to say all of the best. If you are doing a startup, get in touch with me. There will be opportunities coming for guys like you. I'm not being gender specific. For everyone, opportunities are coming your way from through Lockero. It will be your same subject, it will be your same study, and you'll be helping out students who are in need of you. So let's talk about another aspect. Innovation. What is an innovation? Innovation is something that is so remarkable and does not come into the lap of a person in a single day. Innovation is something that a person has to bring out. It has to come from within. It is not like I'm making a notebook that has these kind of sections and you can write title in one, serial number in one. This is not an innovation. Facebook was an innovation, trying to connect people all over the world. That was a brilliant thought. Although it was stolen, it is said that it was stolen, or based on someone else's idea, because Mark Zuckerberg was in Harvard at that point of time. So I would say innovation is like, it does not comes when you think of it. It comes from within. Innovation is something like that. Getting from petroleum fuel to electrical fuel or electrical system of working of cars is an innovation, right? Thinking of SpaceX, making the space travel commercialized is an innovation. It is a big innovation that a person can really think of, and not even funded by any of the government or the private entity putting up my own money of, let's say when Elon Musk launched the SpaceX, he put up his own $100 million, to achieve that dream of commercializing the space travel. So you have to think for ideas like that. And first attempt he failed, second attempt he failed, on the third attempt when the rocket of SpaceX launched back to the pad, then when NASA gave him funding of $1 billion. So it was the jump from 100 million to $1 billion, and that is very, very, very important to see in your idea, that where your idea lies in the particular market that you're trying to achieve, right? So we have talked about like innovating idea, solution based idea, copying idea. Let's for a moment talk about the market. Market is very important segment of your idea or your business model, because if there isn't any market, who would you sell the product or the service to? We everyone from from this particular school of law has known about the primary sector, the secondary sector, the tertiary sector. We as lawyers, we as advocates fall in the tertiary sector, right? So market is very much important, and tertiary sectors only deals in the service of the people, for the people, right? So market analysis is very much important when you talk about executing your idea, because without market, who would you sell it to? अगर कोई लेने वाला है ही नहीं प्रोडक्ट, तो आप कहां जाके बेचोगे उसको? So you have to decide these things. You have to have a business plan. We'll get to it later. But अगर आपके पास ये चीजें नहीं हैं, who would you sell it to, right? So let's talk about market for a moment. There is something called niche. I don't know how many people of you are aware of niche, the word niche, NICHE. There is something called niche, which is the main segment of a particular. Uh, um, no, let's take the example of niche as an umbrella. Okay, so niche is an umbrella under which falls the subcategories of that particular category. Let's say I took the Law Karo. I made up. I am the founder of Law Karo. I built up a website. I'll be building an application also to help the people who are in law. I don't give a damn about the CATs, the UPSCs, the MBAs, or the K-12 segment. And people who don't know, the K-12 segment is the study from class 6 to 12. That what Byju's is basically doing. Integrating White Hat Junior, Topper.com and all that. And interesting fact, Byju's is one of the top startups of India, evaluating nearly like between 25 to 30 billion dollars. So what I was saying, them, you have to capture the market at a certain point in with your startup, and you have to do it so passionately that you should not fail, I would say. So there are three things that comes with the market. There is TAM, there is SAM, and there is SOM. So TAM is TAM, that is targetable audience, targetable available market. Then here comes SAM, serviceable available market, and SOM, which is serviceable obtainable market for a particular startup. Let's say if you are living in India, and just for a moment, hypothetically, I'm saying, imagine there is no restaurant in the whole world, there is no hotel. Okay, what you would do? That is the whole 7 billion people are your TAM, targetable or targetable available market. That is, those are the people who are available at a particular point of time for you to get service from, कि आप उनको कोई चीज एज अ रेस्टोरेंट या फास्ट SQR QSR क्विक सर्विस रेस्टोरेंट के तौर पे आप उन्हें सर्विस कर सकते हो एंड अपना प्रॉफिट ले सकते हो. ऐसा तो नहीं होता है, इट डजंट हैपन. What happens is there is then SAM. SAM is serviceable available market. You are defining your particular serviceable available market from the total available market. So you have to define, first you have to choose which niche you are creating or which niche you are targeting for. Let's say I'm targeting for law. The market doesn't exist already. The people are everything Unacademy, backed by Facebook. There are shows on TVF as well. um, the Aspirants is one of the shows that had the ads of an academy. Then we are having different kind of shows with an academy as well. But what happens is, no one is thinking about legal fraternity. No one is giving a damn about what will happen if the judiciary aspirants will be, remain in vain. That's why the seats in Himachal Pradesh, seats in even in Delhi, I would say for that matter, people are not up to the mark. They are not studying hard enough. They are, I would say they are bookworm. I would definitely say that, because you cannot clear PSUs or UPSCs or PJS without being a bookworm. You have to be a bookworm to achieve that particular segment. But they are not practical enough to be a judge. Let's say, for an example, if someone is going for lower judiciary, everyone wants the perks and the benefits. Judiciary jobs comes with 60,000 per month starting from it. They get a rented house, and if they are on rent, they'll get HRA, and they'll get a private van or private cab with the these kind of perks. Everyone is thinking about that, but no one is giving the effort that is required to put into it to reach that particular level of achievement, I would say. So market analysis, coming back to the point, is very important. You have to see what is your total available market. Then you have to see what is your serviceable market. Okay, Sam, serviceable available market. And then you have to see from that available market, how can you achieve it? Let's say there is a saying in business that आप पैसा लगाते हो and आपका पैसा दिख रहा होता है कि भाई, let's say X के पास इतना है, Y के पास इतना है, Z के पास इतना है. But when you close your fist, आप जब अपनी मुट्ठी close करते हो, पैसा है ही नहीं, हाथ में है ही नहीं. So अवेलेबल के अंदर से ऑब्टेनेबल कितनी है, वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो टैम सैम सॉम का कंसेप्ट ही यही है, टू अंडरस्टैंड कि आपके पास जितनी मार्केट है, आपके पास जितने लोग हैं, उसके अंदर से पहले बात, आप कितने को सर्विस कर पाते हो, उनको ऑब्टेन कर पाते हो, मेंटेन कर पाते हो. ऑब्टेन करना बहुत इजी है. बिल गेट्स वंस सेड, it's not the people who are buying your products that will make you learn. It's the people who are not buying it. Actually, it is a true statement. तो ऐसा क्यों होता है, मतलब why does it happen? Because we tend to do things like we have to be perfect in everything. We as Indians have a tendency, will make let's say if you have to prepare for UPSC, you'll make a chart, put it on wall, you'll mark everything, you'll study it once, you'll revise it like 5 times before the exam. You're revising it. What happens at those times? That is not how you do it, guys. That is not how you do it. You know, you have to find, even if the biggest coaching centers, the teachers in the coaching centers say that there are two types of learning that you can do. First is, and that is, I guess, is the most important, either you make the subjects that you love your strongest, right? अगर आपको कोई सब्जेक्ट्स पसंद हैं तो या तो आप उनको स्ट्रॉन्ग कर लो सबसे ज्यादा, राइट? अगर आपके पास ऐसे सब्जेक्ट्स हैं फॉर विच यू डोंट हैव एनी एक्सपीरियंस, आप उनको लोएस्ट कर लो. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट अ पर्सन कैन फॉलो अप, राइट? तो what I am trying to say is, uh, okay, please give me a break. I'm just drinking water. Thank you. So, acha, let's talk about, let's carry up with that. So, there are two kind of things that a person can do. Either you can, strengthen your subjects that you are good into, or you can strengthen the subjects that you are weak. So, there are only two aspects to look into, right? There is no other aspect कि अगर आप किसी सब्जेक्ट में अच्छे हो, आप उसको अच्छा कर लो, उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग कर लो, तब स्कोर कर लो यूपीएससी में. नहीं होता तो जो जिसमें वीक हो उसके ऊपर मेहनत करके उसे लेवल पे ले आओ. सो देयर विल बी एन एवरेज रेट. 55-60% से ऊपर जनरल कैटेगरी के लिए भी नो वन आस्क फॉर इट, राइट? सो अब जब मार्केट, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट मार्केट एनालिसिस, देयर आर सम फैक्टर्स टू इट. यू नो, देयर आर सम फैक्टर्स व्हिच इंक्लूड द प्रोडक्ट एनालिसिस. व्हाट इज अ प्रोडक्ट एनालिसिस? प्रोडक्ट एनालिसिस क्या होता है? The product you are trying to make, first of all, the product you are trying to make, the service that it does is the product analysis. What your products offer is the product analysis. How better does it, offers the services from a previous product that if it exists in the market, we don't think about it, but we sure feel कि there is a competition for us. Like, okay, so what your products offer, what betterment can it do regarding that particular market competition that already exists, right? um, Second thing that you have to look after is, does the market really need your product? So I would say survey, doing a survey with your mentors, with your friends, with the market, is one of the essential and vital part of a startup. Because if the market doesn't require your product, what will it do about it? Let's say if Tesla would have come 15 years prior, no one would have given a damn about it. No one would have even thought about buying a Tesla Model 3, Tesla Model 4. Why? I'll tell you why. Because petroleum was at the peak, right? So everyone was using the diesel or the petroleum fueled engines, and no one ever thought that these things will get replenished. And living in the third world country, as per the world norm, we are having those kind of people who think there is ample of it. We don't need anything. We don't need innovation. Last thing that we talked about was innovation. So we don't need these kind of innovation. So you have to look at the market at a like a certain point. Does it really need your product or not? Okay. Then thirdly, you have to enjoy what you do. I mean, you can't build a startup, you can't build anything if you don't love what you do, right? I mean, if you don't, the factor is, even if you like do it and won't enjoy it, there won't be any point of it, right? I might be connecting with some people who are watching, from the college, but there is a factor that you have to love what you do, right? And after that, validity is very much important in your idea. How do you validate your idea? For some people, this might be confusing, that what a validity is. Validity is getting to know how better a performance can your idea do or how valid it is if go forward with it or launch it in the market. Let's say if I'm having competition for, say, for shoes, let's say Nike, okay, and I'm the guy who is producing Puma shoes. So I have to validate firstly with my friends, with my family, with the mentors, or there are some other peoples that I know, and they can validate that this is the stigma that you're trying to fill, or the lacuna that you're trying to fill, and the society really needs your help with it. So that is a validity. So you have to do surveys. You have to find 10 of your friends, 20 of your mentors, 10 of your teachers, everyone, and then you have to do analysis of it. You have to, like, today is not with that much difficult. You just have to build a Google form, have some questions in it, and have some options: yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and everyone will fill it. And at the end of it, you'll have a particular statistic that whether people want it or not, right? So secondly, you have to do market research. What market research is, you have to have the checklist of the features that your service provides. Features, first of all, what additional features that you're trying to give through your idea that doesn't already exist in the market. What are the add-ons? Add-ons could be so little in nature, but could be so significant at the end. They could give a brilliant result. Let's say for a moment, we are living in, hypothetically, we are living in 2006, and Facebook just launched in India, and there is a hype about it, that Facebook came. So now, if you see the Facebook of 2022 and you see the Facebook of 2002, there's a huge difference in it. There was not an option of tagging people. There was not an option of marking your location, making groups, making an event. So these are the kind of add-ons that actually really helps, but are so insignificant in nature that people really don't think about it. But they will definitely think about it with time, but not before that, I would say. And it is a true fact. Apart from that, users, how are you trying to gain the users? I mean, this is another aspect that you have to think about, right? There are overlapping. There must be overlapping with some of the products that are already in the market. Let's say there was a bike rental company or car rental company, Zoom Car. People came with My Choice, and My Choice Car Rental, Rev Car Rental. There was something that Zoom Car was doing different, actually different in a manner that they actually captured the market of that particular segment, and their only targeted audience is from 18 years to 25 years, not more than that. I'm telling you, not more than that, right? So you have to look at the market you're trying to achieve. So analysis and analysis, execution, plus studying the particular market is very important. Okay. Interact with your audience is another aspect. How can you interact with the audience? You can get the feedbacks. You can let them file the feedback forms. If you log into lawcrow.com, there are options on which you can click. First you have to register yourself, that's by default, and then there are some options where you can give the feedback from your side. And even as if you if you guys are having questions to ask us, you can definitely do that. No question asked, will reply you as soon as possible, because there are huge line of questions that we are getting. So you can just log on to www.lawcrow.com, and you can get the feedback forms as well. You can tell us how can we can improve ourselves. This is another segment which is very important. Why? Because you are listening to your audience, and that is one of the most significant thing that a person has to do. If you are not listening to your audience, you're not achieving, you're not good enough, you're not doing things right straight away. It's not like यहाँ का मैं राजा हूँ. No one is king for very long. Even the lion is not. So you have to think, you have to build a product or a prototype or a service in such a manner that you listen to your audience. If they're not enjoying the product, who will gonna pay you? Who's gonna pay you, guys? No one's gonna pay you, right? Who's gonna pay you? No one. Then we come to the stage when we are, confident about these kind of things, that we have achieved these things in our startup or in our business plan. Then we really come to the MVP stage. It is one of the most interesting things that a startup can have. Sorry, I'm just drinking water. Thank you. What is an MVP? MVP is minimal viable product. And what do we know about it? I guess you guys don't know about it. I'll know about it. That's why I'm here. So minimum viable product is, let's break down the words. Minimum is the least. Viable is which is in the working condition. Product is basically the service or anything that you're trying to build. So for an example, let's see when Instagram was launching and it was not bought by Facebook. Initially, Instagram was not bought by Facebook, and after that, they give billions of dollars to buy it. They just went to the investors or the VCs, VC or venture capitalists, with rudimentary form or rudimentary structure of that particular app, that if you push this button it will upload the photo, and if you double tap on it it will like it. There is a button of saving. There was no concept of reels and the trendy things, nothing like that. So it was just basically your showing your actual point of view to the world. It was simple concept of Instagram. So what they did, they made a minimal viable product. Let's right. They made something so rudimentary but yet so significant that they actually achieve what they wanted to. MVP can be achieved in two things. Similarly, traction, we'll talk about it later on, can be achieved by two things, either in the users or either by the revenue that you are generating, right? So MVP is the minimal viable product that should be easy to develop. You should not have to put lakhs of money. Lawcrow was made for like 60,000 rupees, 70,000 rupees. It's not that a significant amount. But the thing that that particular site does create a difference, right? Then its deployment is very important, how you are planning to deploy that particular product in the market. Okay. And then you have to take the customer feedback. That is very, very really important, that you have to take the feedback from the customers. Okay. Then there's another aspect to it. When you have achieved the MVP, that the minimal viable product is in your hand, what are you trying to do with with that particular product? You're trying to gain traction is something, on a surface which is getting close to the surface is called traction. So basically the surface is your product, and the users or the revenue is the thing that you're trying to achieve. Okay, right. So what happens is, traction is, honestly, it is not that easy to gain, right, guys? Why? I'll tell you why it is not easy to gain. Because if everyone would have gained traction in, let's say, in 6 months of time, 8 months of time, 10 months of time, it would not have created that much impact, honestly. I'm telling honestly, guys. So what happens is, traction can be gained by two aspects. First is users. Either by users you gain the traction, or by the revenue that your idea is generating, you are gaining the traction. So guys, these are the things that you have to keep in mind, that what is your revenue model, what are the how much amount of the users that your idea is attracting or gaining or attracting, basically. So these are the one of the most important things that a person have to look into, right? uh, After that, you are going straight away to the pitching. You are going straight away to the funding section. And there are different kind of fundings that a person go to when he is having a startup. So pitching, what a pitching means, pitching is pitching deck. Basically, the term is pitching deck. What pitching deck is, you have to tell your idea in such a manner that a person who is trying to invest, or who is interested to invest, or you are trying to get him to invest, will get in like 30 seconds to 50 seconds, not more than that. If you are not able to bring down your idea in that particular amount of time, in 30 to 50 seconds, there is no use of it. Just quit on it. I won't say quit on it, but there is no point if you cannot explain your idea within 30 seconds. You have to explain your idea, and you have to explain why are you making money, how will you make the money. So these are the questions that has to be answered beforehand, before you will go to the investors. Trust me, you have to really get into it if you are doing a startup. Now we'll talk about the types of funding. Okay, there are different kind of fundings. The basic funding that you will ever get for your idea is from friends, from your family, from your knowns. And you'll think that why I am trying these kind of things, I'll just go to the investors, I'll give the equity of my company to the investor. That's not right. First of all, try to bootstrap your idea. Bootstrap basically means that you are putting your own money to achieve the result that you intend to achieve, right? So when I did my execution last year, it has been like 11 to 12 months that I have been working on my idea. Website is ready, and by April mid it will be ready. And what happens is, I didn't go to the funders here, I didn't go to the investors. Why? I'll tell you why. Because they'll ask the company, they'll ask the equity of your company. Equity basically means the share of the particular company. Let's say I ask for 50 lakh rupees for 10% of my company. So every year, he basically owns the 10%, right? No question asked. So you don't have to go to that particular stage so early in your startup. So you have to arrange the funds yourself. First of all, I blew up my savings account. There were softwares that were so costly, because Lawcrow is an idea that is a data based idea. So I'm trying to deliver the best possible things in legal field, in legal notes, summary notes to the students in best possible way. That what happens is, I'll tell you, not everyone can summarize a 500 pages book notebook, a book of IPC into, let's say, 30 pages, 40 pages, 50 pages. I had that thing in me, so I thought that this would help, that I'll be taking up only the important parts of that particular thing, summarizing it, and giving to the students for free. Obviously, I'll be earning my revenue through AdSense. You guys might be aware of it. So the first thing is, never go for funding in the first stage. Okay, right? And no one will ever give you, because there won't be any MVP. Okay, so you have to build the, you have to you have to collect the data, compile it, analyze it, edit it. So these are the four things that you have to do beforehand. Then you have to make the prototype, you have to test it. After testing it, you have to upload the data, you have to see the results, and after the results, you'll get to the funding part, or that is a very far part in the whole startup process. So there are different kind of fundings that I am gonna tell you about. First is the friends and family. We've already talked about it. Second is angel funding. There are angel investors. Then there are seed fundings. Seed basically means you have to plant a seed. Basically, you have to put the seeds in the ground and let it grow. Let it become a sapling, and then it will definitely become a tree at certain point of time. And then there are series funding, series A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you have qualified for, let's say, series A funding, the people will give you $10 million, $15 million. They'll invest in your idea, they'll take your company. After that, you'll go to like series B funding, E funding. people from that particular $10 million, it will drastically go to $100 million, I would say. So this is the gap that, these are the perks that comes with a great idea, but not everyone has it. I mean, I'm into it. I'm trying to do my best with what I can do, but the result is not in my hands, right? So then what you have to do, you have to market your idea. That brings up the stage of digital marketing. We are talking about SEO, search engine optimization. We're talking about SMO, PPC, AdSense, Google Ads. So you have to really think about it. You have to have the really in-depth knowledge of your idea, because if there is, let's say, if there is a copyright issue on your particular idea, what will it do? It will hurt the revenue that you will generate in future. So you should not do it. You should not indulge in those kind of activities. We'll talk about it in the ethical part. So you have to think right. You have to do the good kind of, or the, let's say, the white kind of social media things. You have to do good kind of social engine optimization to, for Google to search you. There is something called GSC, Google Search Console. You have to put your website in that. There are different aspects to it, and if you want to study about it, by April end or April mid, I would say, my website will be ready, and everything will be there, and explained in bits and bits of everything. Apart from that, when let's go to the ethical part. The main thing about this particular webinar is that I have to talk about the startups, but we have to start the startups in an ethical way, in a legal way, that won't get you hurt, right? So there are two aspects to it. First is business ethics, and second is CSR, that is corporate social responsibility. Everyone might be aware of CSR, that 2% of your company has to be reserved for the social responsibility. If your turnover is above a particular shelf, that let's say if your company is generating 100 crores of revenue per year, then you have to reserve 2% of your company for the social responsibilities that the government will say, and it is under the Companies Act itself, 2013. You guys, we have done law, so we are aware of it. And now, even after 21st January of last year, 2021, it is a civil wrong if you don't do the CSR, right? So there was an amendment that if people who are having this kind of turnover and they are not getting into CSR, they will be fined, and it is a civil wrong. So they will be prosecuted in civil courts, right? So that was an update that I wanted to give. So ethicalness comes in two ways. First is there is business ethics. Second is CSR. Business ethics comes with everything, with your customers, with your employees, with your users, with your suppliers, with your your HRs, and everyone. You have to be compliant. There has to be a compliance between you and them. There should not be any fraud or misrepresentation, or you know people should not be fabricated about any fact, because it helps you in the long run. And I'll tell you why it helps you in the long run. Because see, if you employ a person, let's say, and you are giving him, let's say, 25,000 rupees per month, and he is very happy. He didn't have a job for a very long time, because in Corona, it's happening. So what happens is, and you are indulging into fraud and misrepresentation and all these manipulation kind of things, what will happen eventually, that the person who are with you, or the employees that you have employed in your company, will leave you. So there has to be a very strict check on the policies that you have already drafted. And I'm telling, if anyone is trying to do the is anyone building an tech startup? Basically, my idea is an tech startup. So is anybody building? Please kindly, put it in the chat section on YouTube. So I'll be getting an update that you guys, that these people are getting into these kind of thing or startup. So early stages startup should not get themselves into pirated softwares, because it is not ethically right. You are, ripping off someone's from their money, that their hard earned money. They have created the software for the use of you. You should not do it. Then there should be no shortcuts. There should be no. There are many policies that Google makes and updates every 3 months, right? Most of the people must be aware about it. Getting into YouTube and all that, they must be aware about the policies. But what Google does is they update their policies within 3 months, but people find a way to bypass that. There is there still remains some lacunas that people try to gain advantage of. You should not do that. You should always stick to the honesty. Because ethicalness pays in the long run. There should not be any bad board meetings. There should not be any. You should define the core values of your company. How the recruitment will work. There should not be jack wala system. We all know, we everyone is aware about that. Jack kya hoti hai? So there should not be that. You should lead by example, right? So you should be the one who should say that. I don't think saying does much of the work, but acting does. Acting in the sense that you are acting on the right path, so your employees have to follow it, because you are the one they are leading up to, they are looking up to. So that is a very significant and important part of your startup, of your venture, of your business, and you should do it. I think you should do it. What if you don't follow, let's say if you don't follow this paradigm of ethicalness, and you stick to the manipulation. People are getting jobs into call centers, people are getting jobs of tech sales. They just have to rip off an elderly couple in New York or USA, and they'll earn thousands of dollars in one day. They'll just have to get the credit card details. They'll put it on online. They'll get an OTP. They'll tell him, the person is good to go, sitting here somewhere in Rohini, Gurgaon in India, in Delhi. That is not what I should recommend, because I've been a man of principles, yet I've never attended classes. My whole combined attendance would come only to 17% in last 5 years that I have studied LLB from 14 to 19. But that doesn't make me a bad student, because I used to go to the court and learn it. So that was, ethicalness is different for every person. For you, it could be different. For Richa ma'am, it could be different. For Pallavi ma'am, it could be different. For, hundreds of students that are studying in GEMS right now, could be different. So everyone has a different definition of ethicalness. But there are some moral, there is some moral, there are some morals that you have to follow. Like when we were studying law, there's a brilliant example, or a little example, that Ajay sir, who is still currently not in GEMS anymore, he used to teach IPC. He said, अगर कुछ करने से पहले मन हल्का सा भी घबराता है, या मन के अंदर से आवाज आती है कि इस काम को नहीं करना चाहिए, तो आप उस काम को मत करो, वो मोरली गलत है. So that's how ethicalness of something could be defined. Morality of something could be defined. You don't have to indulge in bad practices. You don't have to be a gray hat hacker or someone to, be a Robin Hood. You are yourself doing bad things to achieve good things. That's not how it works. Law is like कीचड़ है, कीचड़ के अंदर आपको एक कमल का फूल एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है, लेकिन आपको खुद भी तो कीचड़ में उतरना पड़ेगा ना. You have to get in the mud yourself. So that's how it works, guys. So you don't need to indulge yourself into bad practices. ये सब छोड़ दो. अगर करना भी है किसी को, please don't do it, because long run में कहीं ना कहीं it pays. Karma pays. Then the last segment of my lecture is the legal parts. The when you are starting a startup, you have to register your company first of all. Everyone should know about it. You have to get the licenses, the certifications, then the domain names from, there are some big monster, GoDaddy and all that. So everything is there. You just get, you just have to type in the name that you want. This I got Lawkero for like 5,000 rupees for 1 year with SSL certification. So it's very cheap. When you divide it by 12, it's very cheap. So you don't have to worry about it, right? So do not try to trick the search engines, whether it's Google or Bing or Aloha, anyone. Don't try to trick them. You have to get the proper certification. There should not be any tax evasions, because people do it. I have been into those people that try to trick the government that they are earning this amount of um, money from that particular idea. Let's say कि वो इतना कम कमा रहे हैं, but they're actually trying to do, they're trying to cloak it basically. So cloaking is not right. It is not morally right. It is not ethically right. You have to sustain yourself, become stabilized. पैसे की कमी हर किसी को होती है. We as middle class people, I don't know how many of you are the middle class people. Everyone has some problems financially, but you don't have to give up just because you are having those problems, right? There will be a right person who will help you out. I tried contacting with some of my teachers as well. Some of them help, some of them not, but it's not that bad. You have to stick to your idea. If you really think that it will bring out change, that would be the best result ever. The first of all, the loving the thing you are doing, then the result you're getting, it is the best thing. You don't have to stick your nose out to someone else and saying, and if someone else, let's say, put a condition that if you do this, I'll do this, कि अगर तू कुछ illegal करेगा तो मैं ये करूंगा या help करूंगा. So you don't have to do this. Everyone has a choice in life. So never indulge in those kind of activities, whether it's your life, whether it's your startup, your business, because you're earning money through your business only. There is no second option in that. So you have to be very meticulous about it, particular about it, that I won't indulge into unethical things, unethical activities. So I would wish all the best to everyone from from every year, and people who are watching. I'm really thankful that you're here. Please log on to www.lawkaro.com, and I will request to Richa ma'am to please give me the email IDs, because there will be interning opportunities coming with Lawkaro shortly, and it will help you stream up your legal subjects, summarize them. Basically, Law Karo is based on law. So everything there will be helpful to you in every aspect, because it is regarding law. So I will be giving you a certification of appreciation and certificate of experience as well. So shortly, within 3 to 4 months, I guess, opportunities will be opening, and I would love everyone to apply to it, and we'll sort out the students on the spot. There will be some structure that will be decided with me and my one of my friend, because I'm not having team. I bootstrap my idea wholly myself. um, I put out like 2-3 lakhs of my own savings and dad's money to achieve that particular website wala thing. Getting the softwares, getting the licenses, certification, everything. So if anyone is having a doubt for startups, please coordinate with Richa ma'am. I'm saying you, she will give you my number, my everything, social profiles and all that. You can contact me anytime, literally any time of the day. I'll reply to you as soon as possible. If you're having difficulties, if you're having financial difficulties, I'll try to sort it out. I'm not promising anything, but yeah, we'll see what we can do, and we'll direct you in the right direction. So I would end my lecture on this note, and thank you very much for everyone to listen to my lecture. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, Tanya, take it from here.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a detailed info
Thank you.
on
Thank you.
startup and guiding us about the ethical steps. Also, sir,
Thank you.
I
Thank
would
you.
request you to please answer a few questions in the chat box.
Sure. If
Uh,
anyone is having, please ask me the questions. If anyone is having, please ask me.
shall I read out the questions for you?
Sure. Please. Go ahead.
Yes. So the first question is by Pranjal Vashisht. He's asking,
Mm-hmm.
sir, how to stay motivated during the process of settling of a startup.
See, Pranjal, that is a very interesting question, I would say. Why? I'll tell you why. Because, see, when you talk about your idea, the first person that you will ever go to won't be your dad or won't be your mom or your parents. You'll go to your friends, right? Some of your friends will encourage you, some of them will say, अरे यार ये क्या उठा के ले आया है भाई, क्या बनेगा तू, मतलब लाइक तू मार्क जगरबर्ग बनना है क्या तेरे को, तो वो वाली चीज है. You have to get fueled by those negative things. Firstly, I didn't think that I will be here launching Logro. I don't have a single penny of revenue. Literally, I haven't earned single penny of revenue from Logro right now. I've been working on it for like 12 months of my life. But I know this is something I want to do. क्योंकि कुछ बड़ा भी तो करना है ना, कुछ अचीव करना है लाइफ के अंदर. There has to be a betterment of people as well as your earning. So don't get motivated. Check out the social media profiles. Follow big people, follow people with visions, because vision helps in long term. Short term mein aapke friends, aapki family, everyone will say positive things, but no, long run mein they will say, अरे पैसे तो तू कमा नहीं रहा है. My family says to me, पैसे तो आ नहीं रहे हैं, लॉ करो का फाउंडर बन के बैठा है, लेक्चर दे रहा है. So that's not how it works. I am having the vision. अगर भगवान ने सबके दिमाग में वो विजन डालना होता तो हर कोई फाउंडर ही बैठा होता ना यार. सो यू हैव टू बिलीव इन योर सेल्फ. मैं मेरे 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 दिमाग में वो पुट करा गया है ना भगवान के थ्रू. सो दैट्स ऑल्सो अ कनेक्शन दैट आई हैव टू रियलाइज कि मेरे ही अंदर क्यों है वो चीज. मेरे माँ बाप, मेरे फैमिली, मेरे फ्रेंड्स के अंदर क्यों नहीं है वो. there is a reason behind it. So you have to follow your intuition. They somehow know it what you want to really do. मैं पूरा I used to be good in litigation. In third year I filed a case and won it against Motorola. I'll show you the files. Someone messaged me. I'm still having the files of first ever case that I fought, and that was against Motorola Solutions. It was against a mobile phone company, and I won it in the consumer court. I got the 20,000 rupees compensation. In my third year, I was not even aware of drafting. Right? So you have to believe in your intuition. Don't get demotivated, please. Yes, Tanya, please. Next
Thank
question,
you, sir.
please. No
Yes,
issues,
sir.
no issues,
The next
please.
question is by Karan Kapoor. So he is asking, sir, how can we come to contact you for the query of our own startup?
Arey, just message Richa ma'am. I'm like her son. She's like my mom. She is having everything with her from my side, my social profiles, everything. I told you www.lawkaro.com. You'll get all the follow-up links on that. And still, if you want to contact me, please ask Richa ma'am. I would say, ma'am, please give the numbers to the students. My direct number, my personal number, no issues on that. I would really love to help out people as much as I can. Thank you, ma'am. Please.
Sure, sure.
Thank you, mom. Thank you.
Yes,
Tanya, she said
wonderful.
yes. Okay, so you can ask them to contact her.
Thank you, sir. So these all were the
Okay, no
questions.
issues. No
And
issues,
once
no
again,
issues, no
thank you,
issues.
sir, for guiding us. And now I would
No,
request
thank you.
Professor Sunaina Mishra ma'am to please deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Tanya. So I take this opportunity on behalf of Chemtech School of Law, Greater Noida, to extend my vote of thanks to our chairman, sir, director, sir, and our HOD, ma'am, for giving us these kinds of opportunities for organizing different kinds of lectures during the course of our during the course of our semester. And I also want to extend my vote of thanks to all the IIC members. And last but not the least, the most important thanks goes to our guest of the day, Kunal sir, Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
sir,
ma'am.
for
Thank you.
delivering such an encouraging and informative and encouraging lecture. I was listening to your lecture throughout, and it was really motivating. And I was also getting so many ideas as to how can we start a startup. So thank you, Kunal. It's like a teacher-student relationship. So sometimes
Thank you. Yes,
we
ma'am.
are
Yes,
teaching
ma'am.
our students, and sometimes our students are also
Exactly.
teaching us.
That's how life
So
works,
thank
I believe.
so thank you so much, Kunal, and thanks to
Thank you,
all the
ma'am. Thank
students
you.
who were listening so patiently, and thank you, Richa ma'am, for organizing such a guest for us. Thank you so much. So I would like to end my vote of thanks here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
You
ma'am.
too, Kunal.
Uh, if, sir, I could borrow a few more minutes, I had a question
Sure,
in my
sure.
mind. Uh,
Sure.
Sir, my question was that as we all are the students for first year and the second year, sir, at this
Okay.
young age, what could we do to what could be the first step to build up our own startup?
See, the first thing that I ever talked about in my lecture was startup doesn't pop up in mind, right? We are not people like if someone pops in our mind, let's build a startup on it. You have to find the relevance. You have to find the solution. Every startup has to be solution based. There was problem of taxi, Ola came. There was problem of deliveries, Flipkart came. There was problem of food delivering from the nearest Raju Bhaiya wala dhaba to our home. Then Swiggy came. After that, Swiggy did, they brought out Instamarts. They are trying to wipe out those that particular हमारे घर की गली वाला जो भैया है उसको wipe out करने के लिए they brought out Instamart and it is going very well. So solution क्या है? People are trying to spend money as much as possible. They are buying subscription of Netflix ने अब लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल मार्वल है, मार्वल आपको पता होगा तो मार्वल ने you know they have deleted themselves from from Netflix. They have moved to Hotstar because it was bought by Disney and Disney and Hotstar are having a partnership. So एक source say if you want to watch a Marvel movie now you will have to buy the Hotstar का subscription as well. So these are the solutions that you have to look into. You don't have to run before an idea. I was having ideas from 12th class. I'm still having the diary from 12th class. Me and my one of my friend Aryan, who's a very dear friend of mine, we were thinking day in day about the ideas. We were writing them down before Oyo. I'm not trying to be that much कि मेरे को बहुत कुछ idea है. Before Oyo, we thought कि let's do something about it. कि hotels book का, you know, for couples, you know, you can understand the paradigm that I'm trying to tell. So we didn't work it out. Someone else did. It came into the market. One of the biggest startups. So solution has to, there has to be right timing. There has to be solution, and then you are good to go. But solution oriented startups works 90% of the time. Because if you think SpaceX as the example, if you take Elon Musk, is it a startup that you are sending people to celebrate their anniversaries or Valentine's Day on the space or the international space station? It is not. It is not a feasible startup. So what you have to do, you have to look for the reasonable startups, reasonable solutions to the problems that are existing in the market. Swiggy solved the the minimum problem, that was like delivering food, delivering milk from the shopkeeper to your doorstep. How big a problem is it? No one likes to wake up at 6 in the morning, go downstairs and buy milk from the shop. Swiggy का बंदा आएगा, दे के चला जाएगा. इतनी बड़ी problem भी नहीं थी, but they found the best solution to it. So that's how ideas work. In my knowledge, that's how it works.
Thank you, sir. So all in all,
No
it is
issues.
about necessity is the mother of all inventions.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for
Exactly.
such an interactive session as well.
Thank
Really
you.
obliged
Thank
to
you.
have you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. Thank you.
moving
Thank you.
towards the
Good luck, Tanya. Thank you,
thank you, sir.
Risha ma'am. Thank you, Sunana ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who is watching. I'm really thankful to be here. Be right back as soon as possible. They will invite me. And next time I hope that I will get present to you in the physical form, not online. So thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure,
All
sir.
the best, guys.
So, towards the end, I would request Sunena ma'am, Richa ma'am, everyone in the meeting room. We have our two professors to please switch on their cameras for a photograph.
Tanya, just a minute. I'm just opening, just finding some issue. Just a minute. I'm opening my camera. Just a minute.
Am I audible?
Yes, Tanya, you're audible. I'm just opening my camera. Just give me a few seconds.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Please open your cameras now, Kunal. Okay. Uh, yes, I think I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are, ma'am.
Kunal, HOD ma'am want to join us, but due to some net issue, she's unable
No
to
issues,
connect
ma'am.
with us.
No issues.
But
I
like she conveyed her blessing for such a delivering such a wonderful lecture today, and giving like
thank you, ma'am.
fruitful tips for how to start up. As Sunana ma'am already just
Thank you, ma'am.
in the vote of thanks. So thanks a lot, Kunal,
Thank you.
for gracing this occasion today. And
Thank you, ma'am.
Tanya, please open your camera. Kunal.
Hold on for a second, ma'am. I'm drinking water, ma'am.
I'm also just. Kunal, please open your camera. Unable to see you. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Did it.
Finding some net issue again. I think Tanya is finding some problem net issue.
I guess, ma'am.
I think so. Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes so that she can join us.
Sure. Sure, ma'am. No issues,
Tanya?
ma'am. Ma'am, HOD ma'am said, please allow me. I mean, I don't know why she
Yeah,
said
I'm
that in the
trying to
chat
allow.
box.
Yeah, I'm trying to allow. I'm trying to connect by the time. एक बार और कोशिश कर रही हूँ मैं.
Okay, no
Just
issues,
wait.
ma'am. No issues. Please do it, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.